Okay, we're back with the Volkswagen First Act Wolfsburg edition, blah, blah, blah. Previous video, we have a broken pickup selector. That's not really the problem. It would be a really quick and easy repair. Luckily, it's in the middle position, which means both pickups are working. Tone is working. So far, I have gotten, this is, all I can tell is it's a mute button. I've never seen a mute button on a guitar, but when you click it, it shuts everything off. Don't know what this knob is for. This is your tone, and it is working. Don't know what these two are for, although I did a little research. There's an LED light there, and it does take a 9-volt battery in the back, so it's an active preamp in there. Now, when I took this all apart, because the volume knob, you'll notice I have a blue tape on there. I have it in full right now because the pot is bad. Now, on a Fender or a Gibson or I don't care, Jackson, whatever kind of guitar you're talking about, you get a bad pot, they do come apart sometimes. And what's happening is the nut is turning and the thread on the inside has come apart and on the inside of the pot. It's actually working and making contact. I was able to tighten it up enough to make it stay in that position. I did a quick research on these guitars. They're cheap guitars. These are plastic knobs. The hardware, and stuff looks really nice, but it's, after having it open, number one, leave it to the Germans to over-engineer something as simple as Leo Fender's invention of, having separate pots all attached to one thing. So if you needed to replace a part, all you had to do was unsolder it and put a new one in. No, they had to put a complete circuit board in there and have a goddamn computer brain stuck inside of a guitar, which it does not need to be an active guitar and have a distortion function, all that already built into the guitar. It doesn't need to be that complex. And the problem is the pot is actually soldered into the circuit board. Now, that doesn't mean I can't fix that, but I would have hundreds of dollars in labor and parts into a guitar that's only worth $100. So we're going to restring it. The guy that owns this, his son bought it. They're in the car business. That's what attracted them to the fact that it was a Volkswagen edition type guitar. This is going to become a playable, limited function guitar, but it's basically going to be wall art because that's all it's really worth. I will make it play to the best that it can possibly play, but it is not going to have some functions. And I put that blue tape on there, so when I give it back to them, I'm going to tell them, do not turn the volume knob. It needs to be replaced. But I tried to source out a circuit board, figuring, maybe somebody in China is making them, and I can get it for, dirt. But no, because it's German made, you can't find it, it's not available, whatever. So onward and upward. The customer said restring it, we're going to make it wall art, and I'm going to go the extra mile because these are really good friends of mine and good customers in more than one way. So I'm going to string it and make it play, but I don't know how well it'll play. Again, it came to me with no strings on it, so I got to start from scratch. I'm just going to put my regular Ernie balls on it. Hopefully the volume knob won't give me any fits while I'm working on it. So onward and upward, as I said. Get all our tuning pegs set. These are regular Fender type, Gibson type. There's a little piece of wire still on that one. That's going to be a heartache, I'm sure. Let me see, is that just going to come off or give me a problem? Yeah, probably going to give me a problem. Somebody took the strings off it. I don't know why anybody would take strings off a guitar and not put more. Probably because it doesn't play right and the electronics aren't working. Stand by. I'm not going to make you watch this. Alright, I'm back. Some knucklehead left a piece of string on there. So my guess is whoever bought the car got this guitar as a freebie. You know how it is at car dealership sometimes, and Trust me, I know, because I spent 20 years at a car dealership. Aside from being a guitar guy and a bass player and a musician and a guitar luthier and everything else that I do, I know a little bit about a lot. I worked at a car dealership for 20 years and had several jobs in my tenure there. So they were always doing stupid giveaways like this from time to time. Never worked at a Volkswagen dealer, but let's just string it up and see what the survey says. Just because this slammed right down onto the well, we don't have any string tension on it, but slammed right down to the fretboard. Same process as always. You've seen a million of them. Run it through, libs there, go past the peg and a half on the fat strings, 2 pegs on the skinny strings. First wrap goes above the peg hole. Every successive wrap goes below it. That locks the string in place, and you want them to go down towards the headstocks. That way you get a break angle. That doesn't change. So I'm going to restring this and save a little video time. You've seen this a bunch of times, so stand by. I'll be right back. Okay, so we got the rest of the strings on, and this is basic stuff. Now we're going to tune it up. Let's get her up to A. Come on. Come on, boy. It was really close on the E. So the mechanics of stringing up a guitar never really change, regardless of whether the electronics are working. We're still going to check, the intonation and all that. I'm going to check the neck relief because that's the next thing we want to check. And we're going to check string height. We're going to do the whole setup on it, even though I'm probably not going to charge him for this because, as I said, he's got the G&L bass in here, which is going to be a full restoration. This is going to kind of be taking away from, my cost on the strings in a little bit of time, a freebie. I'm donating my time on this, as it were. There's my 12. Gotcha. Capo at the first fret. Grab the body joint. It's dead on. That's. Sometimes I surprise my own damn self. Yeah, it's dead on. Yep, I can leave it there. Sometimes you get lucky with that stuff, I guess, because I had it set straight. And now the string tension from stringing it up has put the exact right amount of 12 thousandths neck relief in it at the 7th, 8th fret. Just forget. Oh yeah, way close. Like I said, I know this is going to end up being a wall hanger, but we're going to make it play, and I'm going to go through the motions and get everything set the best that I can. Being that this is a Gibson style tune-o-matic, I'm going to go 5/64ths at the 12th and 3/64ths at the 12th on the high E, 5/64ths on the low E. I don't need that in there right now because it's going to jam itself. Let's just check and see what the string height lottery says. I know some of this stuff gets to be redundant and repetitive, but you got to look at this stuff and you got to watch and you got to learn. We're right at 4. We're right at 4. Boy, I mean, closer to 3 and just right at 4 there. So I need to bring it up, which means I need to loosen the strings slightly. If you're going down, usually you can get away with it, but sometimes the tension on the saddle alone. Now I know there is a hex in there. That's probably the easiest way to do this. And I'm too easy if it was the same size. Of course it's not. Up slightly, check it again. We've got a little bit, still hanging at 3 there. And the string tension is starting to get it. Come up slightly more. 5, 3, perfect. I like that that's got a hex in there. I gotta say, I like that. These are, it's not exactly a tune-o-matic because on a Gibson they would be wide, big enough for you to get in there and do it with your fingers, but they don't always put a fitting in here, either a flat head or, in this case, a hex. But I like that. So let's tune it up again. I know now that my string height and my neck relief is set correctly. Because I want to get to seeing what actually works electronically, because I'd still like them to be able to play the guitar, even though every function isn't going to work. And even though he's stated, well, just string it, it's going to be wall art, it's automotive related, we're car guys, I can live with that, but strings are stretching. Stretching a little bit, help them along. Always the wound strings stretch way more, especially if the guitar doesn't have any stability, which this one, I'm going to guess, probably doesn't have as much stability as a Les Paul or a Fender would. Wood being a lower grade of wood and materials used. I would call this actually below an entry-level guitar. This was probably manufactured with the idea of being wall art. But Volkswagen people love it, I'm sure. Got a free guitar with my car. Spent 40 grand on a car, got a free guitar. Or whatever. Okay, let's plug it into an amp and see what kind of noise it makes. Sounds like there's already a do I have my overdrive button pushed on the amp on that? Oh yeah. There we go. Mute. Tone. Let's put a battery in it and see what happens. Probably I ought to unplug it before I do that. Sammy Safety says, always unplug your guitar before you install a battery. Don't know what'll come of this, but maybe it'll activate it's supposed to have an onboard distortion with it. That would be interesting if it works. I know the volume pot's schwanced on this thing, but it'd be interesting. Maybe that's what one of these buttons is. I don't know. I'm just a guitar guy. Ooh, that made it active. So that's your, see the LED light pops on. It's got a because it's an active guitar, it's got a preamp in it, and it also has a built-in, I don't know if you can see the light right there, pops on, off. I guess the camera's not really picking that up. Right there. And it's actually activating a distortion on board. Clean. This is a blend knob when that's activated. So So we have both pickups working. We have the distortion activated. Can't touch the volume now because the Germans over-engineered this guitar. I have the truss rod. I have it set up. I have it restrung. It's a playable guitar, but it's just it's a bedroom player. I'm gonna adjust these real quick, and that's it. Today's lesson is, well, he only spent $25 on this guitar, so it's $25 worth of fun all day long, because it's kind of, you know, not a one-of-a-kind, but a really rare guitar, considering. Doesn't make it worth a lot of money. His other guitar is going to be worth a lot more. The one that we're working on and restoring, the G&L bass guitar. You've seen that video before. We're getting ready to do a second installment for that, but this one's pretty much done. I'm going to off camera set the pickups. They're way high, and it's going to make it sound better. At least it's playable. You know, for $25 plus a set of strings and my setup fee, for $50, he's all in, and it's better than a wall hanger as long as they don't touch the volume knob. Okay. Thanks for coming along and playing along. This is Black Jack with 396 Guitars. We'll talk soon.